Welcome to Ancient Geeks, a podcast where two old friends of a certain age talk about the development of geek culture from decades past to the present day. We discuss movies, comics, TV, and the written word. We were geeks before with chic, and I'm your co-host Stephen Taylor, but this episode might require some grape juice plus.
All right, and I'm your co-host Tom Grant, and I am the first chimpanzee to be born in a circus.
But not a madhouse.
Not a madhouse, no.
This week we're discussing 1971's, I don't know, what movie? I was going to say blockbuster, but that's not right. Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Well, it was popular. I mean, a blockbuster is what? It's popular. It's epic.
I think a blockbuster makes a lot of money and is very popular. It made enough money to keep going. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right, but before we get into this week's topic, what have you been doing in geekiness this week, Tom?
So I have been doing some purchasing of books still, and this time around it wasn't from a used bookstore. It was directly from the author.
Oh, wow.
So there's a sword and sorcery writer, among other things, Daryl Schweitzer, and I saw that he was selling things through eBay, and I got a book of sword and sorcery stories that he's done, and a book of Lovecraftian stories that he's done. So that's my geek of the week.
The question becomes, when will you ever find time to read all this stuff?
That's a very good question. Well, once our accelerated recording schedule relaxes, I will definitely be making more progress through them.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you'll
be traveling.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I always find I read less when I travel than I expect to.
Are you saying it's a bad idea to stockpile books?
Well, maybe, but then what's my geekery this weekery? Books.
Books. There you go.
We were visiting friends in North Georgia, and my wife was looking for some books, and so we went on a little used book safari since we don't have bookstores in Montgomery. Atlanta has quite a few used bookstores, some very nice ones actually. So we hit at least four, I think, on the way to our friend's house. So yeah, I got a pretty good haul. I got a couple of Keith Laumer books. I did find on my list of, I wanted to read Albert Bester's The Stars My Destination because you keep bringing it up. So I did find a copy of that.
Oh, great.
Although I found one copy at Half Price Books. They wanted $40 for it. I'm like, I don't think so.
What?
It was a hardcover special edition kind of thing. I'm like, I don't think so. I found one for $7.
No.
Even though I, had an unpleasant experience with Philip Jose Farmer's novella in Dangerous Visions, I did get the first two River World books. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did find that Ben Bova Starcross thing about his experience basically on
his Primal Scream
on the Star Lost. Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but anyway, we'll see. So that was successful. We'll see what happens next. Some of that stuff may make its way to the podcast at some point, or the Substack, one or the other. So let's just jump into this, shall we?
Let's leap into it head first.
So what song would you use if you could afford it for this episode?
Since the soundtrack is penned by Jerry Goldsmith,
right,
I decided to pick another Jerry Goldsmith theme, and it's the theme not from a movie, but from a TV show, Police Story, because it has the same wackada early 70s vibe as the soundtrack for Escape from the Planet of the Apes. The TV-ness of it all.
It was very TV. It is worth noting, by the way, since we did Duel a few weeks back, these are both movies made in the same year. And one was on TV and one was in the theaters. And the one that was in the theaters was more of a TV movie to me than the one that we saw on TV. But anyway, we'll come back to that in some capacity.
We're going to talk a lot about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I first was going to do Ape Man by the Kinks, but then I remembered you did that for Planet of the Apes.
Right.
So then I decided I would go with I Want to Be Like You from the Jungle Book soundtrack.
Oh, excellent. Okay, excellent. Yeah.
But anyway, so I mean, real basic background, right? This, as we talked about when we talked about Escape from Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the second movie in this 5-movie series. One, Heston wanted no more sequels. Oops. And that's why the Earth blew up at the end of that movie. But
so are you saying that Hollywood doesn't respect the talent?
I think that anybody who thinks that you can preclude a sequel
It's an
is
idiot.
crazy. Yeah. Because, all it
Yeah,
takes is some stupid time distortion, parallel universe, or whatever the hell you want to do, and you've got your
that's right.
sequel. So, you're nuts if you think. So
Well, it's
Hesse
probably
was,
the close. It's probably the simplest pitch meeting, right? It's just like the
yeah,
somebody comes into the office of the studio executive and says money,
yeah,
and the
exactly.
executive
Because
says money. I like money.
yeah, because as we pointed out in that
Yeah.
podcast, it had a very low budget, but it made a relatively large amount of money relative to the
Yes.
budget. I didn't write down the number, but it was
Right.
enough to have the pitch meeting you just described.
Yes.
And I was shocked to find out that it has a 75% tomometer reading from critics
Yeah.
for like almost 30 reviews, while Beneath has a 37%, although Planet of the Apes is 86, which makes sense. But we'll get back to relative rankings, I think, later.
Yes. But that's really interesting because I think
Yeah.
the the non-geekness of the critics might have something to do with
It might.
that inversion of expectations in the scores.
And also this comes to a theory that I've actually I think is again part of your approach to sequels, which is
Yes. Don't make them.
well, no, Planet of the Apes was a great movie, so probably expectations for a second movie would not be achievable, hence the
Right.
low ratings. But then Beneath wasn't that great, although I've reevaluated it somewhat. We'll talk about that in a minute. So
Okay.
maybe this one therefore had like how bad could it be, right? So if it was at all acceptable, the critics liked it. I think this expectations in life are really important,
How
right?
do you, how on earth can you make a bad Planet of the Apes movie?
Well, it's
Well,
not that hard. So, how did you first encounter this film, Tom?
oh, I'm sure I saw it in the theater. I'm sure my mom acceded to my multiple requests to see the next
Oh,
Planet of
Mom,
the Apes
please,
movie,
please. It's a Planet of the Apes
and took me
movie.
to it. And I'll just say I wasn't a big fan of it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like it. I remember that.
Mr. Mini Negative.
Mr. Mini Negative. Mini Me Negative.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as I've said before, I saw it on television in the Dallas market when I was a kid. So, all right. What's the simple description of this movie?
The simple description of this movie is that the studio wanted more money. So, so
It's just basically, if you may recall, to make a geek reference, the
yeah,
reason Zephram Cochrane wanted warp drive in First Contact was money. So there you go.
money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, okay, no, seriously. So Cornelius and Zira and another scientist, Milo, escaped from
Dr. Milo to you,
Dr. Milo. Yes, Dr. Milo, the Leonardo da Vinci of his age,
apparently.
of his ape age, somehow refurbished Taylor's original spaceship, fly it away when the Earth is being destroyed at the end of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, go through the same wormhole,
Time
space-time
vortex. I don't know.
anomaly, space-time swirly that then launches them into the 20th century from
Hmm.
where Taylor had started, and then hijinks ensue with not a happy ending.
That's right. Yes, it really raises. I mean, this is one of those. If you think about it too much,
Yes.
it gives you a headache. Because it was bad enough in the first movie. It was kind of unclear because there was cryogenics on the ship, right?
Right. Right.
And so I was able to accept in the first movie that something wacky went wrong and they ended up where they started, you
Right.
know. But between what was this? The guy I can't blank on the guy's name in the second movie. The Taylor's clone.
James Franciscus. I do not remember the name. We just watched it. That tells
I,
you something
oh
about
God,
how much of
Brent,
a
was it
memorable
Brent?
clone. Yes, it was Brent. There you go.
So
There you go.
I mean, basically, what these movies purport to tell us is that there is a right off. I mean, like right off the orbit of the Earth somewhere.
Yeah.
This space time vortex,
Right.
like right there. Like, is it even at the moon? I don't know. Is it in low Earth orbit? But
I don't know.
somehow, but
Three times. Three
the first
times.
ship was like on a deep space mission of some kind,
Right.
and yet I don't know. It just again, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any
Yes.
sense.
Yes, and they don't even blink in the script for this movie that this is the third time someone has
Mm-mm.
traversed this
No.
wormhole or whatever the heck it is.
And what did Dr. Milo, Cornelius and Zira where think they were going? Sure, you're escaping the Earth blowing up,
Right,
but you're
right.
in the spaceship. Where are you going?
Yeah, I guess originally there was a plan to have this movie start
Hmm.
with them in space looking at the destruction
Yeah,
of the Earth,
yeah,
but I'm sure
yes.
they didn't have the budget to do that.
So that's funny. I was going to bring this up later, but bring him
Mhm.
now. I have a serious Mandela effect. I
Yes,
swore in my brain there was a scene of them in the ship watching the Earth blow up.
right.
I don't know why I think this,
Huh.
but
Interesting.
I really I thought it was gonna I thought it was gonna be at the end of the second movie, and I thought it was gonna be at the beginning of this movie because I just had this childlike memory, and all I can figure out is it's like the scene in Star Wars when they jettison the robots jettison the droids from the ship, and they look
Right.
through the back at the ship. I think somehow I mapped that onto Zira and Cornelius looking out the back of a ship.
Oh, fascinating.
That's all I can figure out. But I swear to God, I thought this scene existed. In fact, I went searching for it on the internet. And apparently, they did film a scene, but didn't complete it. There's no special effects, so it doesn't exist.
Right.
So I thought maybe I'd seen it somewhere. There was some special edition.
Hmm.
Nothing. But I thoroughly believed it. If you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have sworn that this scene existed. But oh well, hallucinations of a young man. What can I say?
And really would not have added anything to this movie to have
No,
that scene.
no. Although it does to my amusement, right? Just like the second movie, they don't even show a lame spaceship crash. They just show the
No.
ship on the ground.
Right. I still like the spaceship crash in the original Planet of the Apes. That
Yeah,
was that was
good.
cleverly done. But here it's like if you have a bad movie and you add some backstory to it or some sort of embellishment to add more
Hmm.
context to it, it doesn't make it better. Like if we had
Oh
had
no.
more, if we had the backstory of Ming the Merciless in Flash Gordon, that would have not improved the movie one whit.
What if you'd learned that he'd been like spanked as a child, and that's why he's so
Exactly.
merciless?
He's merciless.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
he had
right.
Roy Cohn as his childhood friend.
You're trying to distract me. I'm not going to take the bait.
Okay.
All right. So key scenes. Let's just do some key scenes. This is
Okay.
really like one thing I think it has in common with the second movie. It feels linear. Well, even more so. It just feels like a TV
Yes.
movie is what it feels like. It's like, okay, we're going to go from this beat to this beat to this beat to this beat to the end. All right, fine.
Right.
It's a pretty straightforward movie. I'm gonna give you, I can just give a real brief rundown, then we can come back and talk. Right?
Okay.
They splash down, and which is a weird scene, right? It's all like during the credits,
Yeah.
and I'm already gonna deviate from what I just promised. So, what did you think about the fact that when they took the helmets off, the officers kind of backed off? It was really weird, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was almost comedic.
Yes, it was. It's funny. Like I expected from that point forward to be a little bit more comedy in the movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not a funny movie.
there was some intended comedy. How well it played, is anyone's question. But it's yeah, it was not the scene itself overall was okay. The the spaceship kind of washing up in the
Yeah,
waves. I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay. It wasn't just sitting there. Like we're
right.
talking about,
That's right.
it was actually being moved by the surf
There was
onto the
something going
beach
on because they could have
with
just had it on the beach if they
right.
really wanted to save money.
Yeah, with the divers on it and so
Right.
forth. I mean, it added, a little bit of credibility to this than, being the police and the military there trying to salvage this spaceship that had
Oh,
crashed.
that was the easiest spaceship hatch I've ever seen that you could open
Yes.
from the outside.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
But
And
this they
nobody said, if I remember, nobody said, "Hey, that's Taylor's ship."
no, no. I I think they were expecting just astronauts. I don't
Yes.
know which ones they were expecting, whether it was Taylor, whether it was Brent, whether it was whatever third Charlton Heston looking astronaut they'd sent through the
Right.
wormhole. I don't know. Was there a whole room full of blonde guys with beards that they just send into space? I don't know.
Who overacted?
Yes, yes,
Who all spoke like this?
of course. I don't know
You
why.
bloody bastard.
I don't know. It was just a very strange scene. Anyways, so then, and we're going to talk about the lack of talking because I think we have different opinions about this. But
Okay.
they don't speak, so they realize they're apes, and so they send them to the zoo, which makes again no sense because if you have
Right.
space apes, I don't care whether they're apes or not apes, they're space apes. Maybe you should like take them to, I don't know, call me crazy, NASA,
Right.
MIT, some lab somewhere.
Or
Not.
ANSA, which is the NASA of the original Planet of
Oh,
the
that's right.
Apes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. My
Hmm.
my apologies for not remembering the appropriate trivia. But the LA Zoo?
There's one listener who's very upset at us now.
Yeah, how dare you? Um, so they go to the zoo, they meet these scientists, Dr. Branton, Stephanie Branton, the female, Dr. Dixon, who's an animal psychologist, although he sure has a lot of other skills for an animal psychologist. And they do this test and all this business. And eventually, the apes do talk to themselves about how they're going to be quiet. And then eventually Zira does speak because she can't take it anymore. So
Right.
I'll ask you right now because I think I thought, why are you not speaking? Because I don't know what you're gaining by this silence, but you thought it was
No.
a smart move?
No, I did not think it was
Okay,
a
okay, maybe
smart
I
move.
misunderstood your
No, no,
notes.
no. No.
It felt like false drama.
It was very much false drama. Because as you said, the humans should have realized these apes piloted the spaceship. They took off their helmets.
Yes.
They're all doing things that
Oh, yeah, they're wearing clothes. They have like a carpet bag full
right.
of
I mean, they
clothes.
weren't just they weren't just simians stuffed
Right.
into a spaceship and shot across the galaxy.
That's right. So anyway,
I was distracted early on, however, by the fact that we saw two character actors
hmm
in practically the first scene. So first
yes,
was James Sicking.
yes, I noticed him immediately.
Yeah, yeah, he was there immediately. And people who don't know that, he was in Star Trek 3. He was the captain of the Excelsior and also in Hill Street Blues, a very memorable character from there. And M. Emmett Walsh, sorry,
Yes,
M. Emmett Walsh, say that three times fast, who has been in countless movies.
yes,
Anyway, so
yes.
I was hoping that they would be in it more. Instead,
Yeah, James
we
B.
got
Sicking.
the bland TV actors, not these
That's right.
people. Yeah.
By the way, I thought that the guy that was playing the commander on the beach,
Yeah.
I wrote down Timu Gene Hackman because he looked kind of like Gene Hackman,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
but
That's true.
older than he would have been in 1971, but also not quite. Anyway,
That's right.
the whole intro felt like a TV show, did it not?
Yeah. Well, we should say what defines a TV feel to us. I mean, certainly you mentioned sort of the structure of the story is very
hmm
linear.
Yes,
You want
yes,
to get
yes,
to the
yes.
conclusion as fast as possible. So
Right.
no side roads. Yeah. No stopping at any rest stops or scenic views. Just keep go driving until you reach your destination. I think and the lighting and the
Yeah.
cinematography
Yes.
very television-ish.
Very. It's flat. It's flat and boring.
And just the predictability of
Yeah.
everything is I think the other part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the reason I say the beginning feels like a TV show, it's like it is that sort of thing that especially seemed to happen mostly in the 70s,
Yeah.
where because you've only got 45 minutes of story time, you might you're starting the story with the credits on the screen, right? You
Right.
know, on the this week on the $6 Million Man, right? And then it's like here's the title card for this, and then
Yeah,
here's the director, and
that's
here's the
true
writer,
too.
and you're already setting up the story. This is something that doesn't happen with modern TV very much anymore, right? Either you have a very dedicated intro section, or it's very, very, very brief these days, often, right?
Right.
So, it was just it had that 70s TV feel to it, and yeah, the sort of relatively uncreative shots. I mean, the kind of shots that you set up a couple of cameras, you took what you wanted, and then you edited it together, and you didn't have
Yeah.
time to do cool shots or interesting close-ups, or it was all very almost like standard shots. Wide shot of the
Yeoman
beach,
like.
wide
Yes.
shot of the beach, close in on the army guys, shot of the spaceship being pulled in, and it's just not very artistic.
No, and we're not being sniffy about this. We're not saying, well,
Well, speak
this
for
isn't
yourself.
meeting our standards. It does matter from the
Sure.
experience of watching it. I mean, you can feel the laziness of it
Hmm.
from the filmmaking, which is not helpful in your enjoyment of the movie to think that the filmmakers aren't taking it too seriously. It makes everything sort of monotonic, so
Yes, that's a
then
good word
scenes
for it.
that should be exciting turn out to be not
Right.
very exciting, and it's certainly unmemorable. I mean, there are shots in Planet of the Apes that are very memorable, like when
Right.
they see the scarecrows
Yeah.
up on the ridge. That's great, and there, other things too, and the music we didn't mention it for TV fidelity. If you want to make something feel like a TV show, how do you do that? Well,
Hmm.
one way is to have the TV music, which I already said was very
Right.
TV like, and having that playing over all the time.
Yeah, despite that it
Uh,
was Jerry Goldsmith, it didn't feel like I was
right.
shocked when I saw his name actually, because it
Yeah.
didn't feel Jerry Goldsmith-ish.
But he definitely, I mean, I don't know what the composer version of phoning it in is, but
Right.
yeah, but definitely phoned it in. Versus
But there
again,
was,
like the memorable musical riffs in Planet of the Apes,
hmm
that the heavy drums and the sound and other
well, that
things.
was, it was
Yeah.
cinematic. It had a
Yeah.
cinematic feel to it. It did feel more like, there was this obsession that fits this sort of, I was going to say, it felt like television. And you already pointed
Right.
out an example of this, but not just a do-wacka, but bongos. I mean, there was something in certain xylophones.
Yeah.
There's xylophones.
Yes.
It's like this weird moment in music history, and it was
Right.
often on television. And I don't know,
Yeah.
just didn't do it for me. That's okay.
Tonight on Mannix.
So this third character, Dr. Milo, who helped put the ship together, is played by Sal Mineo. It's his last feature film role, actually, because he was
Yes.
tragically murdered in his 30s. He was actually kind of interesting, and I'd forgotten he was in the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know that the reason he's a third ape is he's got to die. So that much I knew was true.
Abruptly.
But I thought he was going to get killed by the humans, not just like strangled by the ape in the cage.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I read that apparently he was having trouble with the makeup, so they wrote him out earlier than they planned to,
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
because it just doesn't make any sense. This happened, all of a
Yeah. So
sudden
we should say to people listening. So the apes are in the zoo
they're in
in a
the zoo as
cage,
you do with space apes.
which you do with space apes. And I guess maybe this is a way of dissing contemporary humanity. That's like the only thing they can think of doing is putting apes in a zoo. But so they're in the zoo, and so Sal Mineo, Dr. Milo, is standing at the back of the cage, and then
Yes,
this person in a gorilla suit
that's right.
reaches over and just strangles him, and it just happens. It just
Yeah, it just happens.
yeah. There's
It
it's as I said before, it's abrupt. It's kind of weird, and again,
it
because of
is.
the way that things are shot,
Yeah,
it's just sort of there. It happens, and he
yeah,
falls to the floor, and
that's
that's
right.
it. Yeah,
That's right.
it's just a
That's it.
very
All done.
one of the worst shot scenes I think I have seen in all the movies that
That's
we've talked
fair.
about on this show.
That's totally fair. It did look like that. Really did look like a TV blocking and directing and filming. Anyway,
Right, and the gorilla suit was pretty
the
terrible.
girl suit was terrible. There is also, I mean, I think they were trying they were trying to suggest, I think, in the script
Yes,
that they were trying to do some rough riff on racism. The way they talk about the apes, all they just mimic and
right.
all this kind of, but it's like it was ham-fisted and kind of not done well and not. It didn't make
Yes,
logical. Again, it didn't make logical sense. I think
yeah,
one of the things about this movie, the more I think about it, it drives me crazy. I could live with, although it's kind of silly for a reason we talked about at the top of the episode. The space-time rift is kind of a goofy mechanism, but okay,
right.
fine. I could live with the movie where they travel back to Earth and all this, but it's like you got to have a more interesting story than this. And one of the more interesting parts of the story should be a more realistic is not the right word. So a better iterated interaction between these apes from the future and humans, because they do eventually, as we're about to talk about, right? Once they learn they speak, they have this commission and they testify, and they're kind of allowed to become celebrities all of a sudden, right? So
Yes,
there was a space in this movie where they could have had a more interesting interaction.
Hmm.
but instead it becomes this sort of weird. I don't even know quite what they were trying to like do some kind of feminist thing with Zira giving this speech about, why does a woman always have to make the bed? And then they're learning how to socialize and what are they
Right.
in the
Well,
the
let's
script
well,
tries to make them into like objects of curiosity, but then also celebrity. It's just a weird tenor at this point. Go ahead, you were gonna.
yeah. No, I was going to say we should just probably backtrack through the
Sure.
narrative a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
they're in the zoo. They're being tested and examined and so forth.
Hmm.
Finally, somebody realizes because Zero talks that they're
Yes.
they're intelligent.
Right.
Uh, we meet the two scientists who are supposed to be their allies
Right.
through this story.
Yes.
Um, One of them is played by Natalie Trundy again, who was one of
Hmm.
the mutants, and also the the wife of the producer.
Ah,
And she
well.
shows up again in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. The other, to go to the TV-ness of it all, is Bradford Dillman, who was a staple of TV at this time. Tonight, on a very special Streets of San Francisco, Bradford Dillman co-stars. Anyway, he pops up all over the place in TV of this era, and so then they become sort of the chaperones of Cornelius and Zira
Yeah, I
while
think.
they're being interrogated by a government commission. And we meet the heavy in the movie through this process, who's the other scientist, who immediately jumps to the conclusion that these apes must be killed.
Right.
Played
Heavy.
by another guy who is another face I remember a lot from TV and movies of this period. Eric
Eric
Braeden.
Braeden.
Yeah,
Yeah. I felt like Branton and Dixon are supposed to be kind of a Cornelius and Zero analog from the first movie, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I guess Dr. Braden is kind of an analog to Dr. Zayas, although Dr. Zayas is a hell of a lot more interesting than he is.
Right.
And was it just me, or he played excuse me, Dr. Otto Hasslein. Was it just me, or did his little fake German accent come and go with great
Oh,
frequency?
definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the whole testimony. That this testimony scene with the press, of course, none of that made any sense. It's like the press is there, and why is the
Yeah.
press there already? And what's the purpose of this little hearing? It's almost like a mini congressional hearing. It was a very odd setup.
Right. And
Uh,
it has the sort of conceit you see a lot in bad movies where people
mhm.
refuse to believe something obvious.
Right, that's right, that's
Right.
right.
So it's, they can't possibly be intelligent apes. They must be merely parroting the
Yes,
sounds that come out of human mouths. They must have been trained to do certain antics that look as
exactly.
if they were ape scientists. But eventually they decide, yes, indeed, they're intelligent apes. And then we go to what you were
Yeah, the
describing, which
celebrity
was
tour
this
business,
the celebrity tour going to Hollywood Boulevard
cocktail
or
parties,
Rodeo
and
Drive, and
yeah,
cocktail parties, doing shopping. Cornelius gets a suit. Zira gets what they thought were really stylish outfits at the
yeah.
time.
Well, the '70s were the '70s, man,
They were
as
the
we've
70s.
as we've noted many times.
Right.
But yeah,
But then that curdles. I mean, then
yeah,
because the evil scientist is continuing to kind of dig into what's really going on. There was a sort of a verbal slip that Zira made during the appearance before the commission, where she uses the word dissect
hmm,
next to the word human, because that's what she did when she was a scientist in the
yes.
in the future. He kind of starts to convince people that the apes are a menace.
And then, of course, they find out she's pregnant.
Right. Right.
Which, so then, and he then predicts that this is going to help lead to the downfall of humanity. We'll come back to that, I expect.
Yes,
But,
definitely.
but so let's stop here for a second. This is again part of maybe part of the TV movie feel of it all, which is again this sort of linear progression from point A to point Z. We've just got to get there, and so we've got to have all this false drama. I think the thing that really bugs me the most about this movie though is all of the false drama,
Right.
because again, I don't. I understand why you wouldn't want to say in an open hearing, "Oh, I used to dissect human beings," because that would have a negative aspect with the press in the room. I get
Yes.
that.
Right.
By the same token, they're already treating them relatively humanely, right? And President Commodore Decker, he seems perfectly fine with
Right. William
treating them
Wyndham.
normally. I know he doesn't have a name actually, so I decided he's President Commodore Decker.
William
He's just
Wyndham plays the president of the United States.
yeah.
Yes, but not like a Captain Queeg.
No, he's perfectly nice in this movie.
Yeah, and
He's
very
pretty sensible.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah, very reasonable.
but I mean, it. I know it doesn't serve the purpose of the drama, and although you still could probably have the same story and done this much better, they could have had a full conversation about where they were, really what the future was like, right?
Yes.
And why they did what they did and who they are, and maybe they would have been believed, and maybe it still would have been a tragedy. I Withholding information about Taylor made no sense to me. Like, well, why?
No.
What is this doing for you? It's
Right.
just like it reminded me of the scene in Beneath when Brent's talking to the mutants. It won't just tell them the truth
Right.
about the ape army coming. Why? The
Yes.
only reason you're doing it is because the scriptwriter decided to create some kind of false drama, and that's it.
Yes.
So, I mean, and this movie serves its purpose. It made the studio its money. It continued the franchise. But from a narrative point of view, it really does a terrible job of dealing with this opportunity to tell a more interesting story than it does,
Right.
right?
Right. Because things sort of happen.
Yeah.
It isn't B happens because A happened. It's just there are
Yeah.
times like with the gorilla killing Milo that just things happen.
Right.
And either there's some very lame effort to try to justify that event or almost none at all sometimes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like later when Zira leaves her bag behind, still have no
I have
idea why
no
she
idea
did
what
that.
was going with that. So yeah,
Yeah.
what we find after Hasline is trying to like get this information as Zira, eventually this leads to the president allowing them to interrogate her. So we get also, just like I noted in we talked about Duel, that for some reason in the 1970s whiplash was everywhere.
Yes.
Truth serum is everywhere in the 70s. Everyone's
Right.
getting injected with truth serum in the 70s. So she
Right.
gets sodium pentothal and she tells her story. Again, I in context
Hmm.
of these apes just got off a spaceship, dude. Maybe we should like have a little more sophisticated approach to understanding what's going on. We should decide.
Right. And why is
Everyone's
it
got to.
only him?
I don't know.
Why? Yeah, this is one of the most important scientific events in human history. Why do you not have more scientists involved in
Yeah,
investigating what's happening here?
I don't know. That's again that yeah, part of the broader point. I
Yeah,
agree
it's just
totally. So
yeah.
they eventually, I mean, I'm gonna go quick, and then if you want to backtrack, cool. But I mean,
No, no, please go ahead.
after the whole thing with the interrogation, eventually, the two friendly scientists help them escape to the circus where they're gonna hide out and
Hmm.
hopefully have the baby, which is where we meet Armando, played by Ricardo Montalban, who is one of the only actors in this, or only characters besides maybe the apes that have any character at all to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It feels like he walked in from another movie, another better,
Absolutely, a much
more
better
fun
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's having a good time, and eventually there's a chase scene. They're going to go hide out. It's kind of funny when they're escaping. It sounds like they're going to some highly abandoned location,
Right.
like in the wilderness somewhere, practically. But when they
Right.
get there, it's basically at the docks.
Yes. It's a decommissioned ship,
Yeah.
and for some reason they're walking around in the open. Like Cornelius is walking
Yes.
around, easily spotted by anybody who would be looking for them.
Right.
Which
Oh,
apparently
and to
there
your
are a
point,
lot of those.
while they're escape, while they're escaping, Zira leaves her carpet bag in the foot of in the base of a oil pump.
Derek. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it was heavy, I don't know, but it was a dumb thing to do.
Which
Again,
helped them.
so much of the plot depends on people doing dumb things, withholding information,
I mean,
leaving the bag behind.
could we have had the standard cliche of she got her clothes torn on a barbed wire fence and they found the piece of cloth behind? I mean,
Oh, yes.
I mean, something.
Well, it's the 70s, so that should involve quicksand. It should be that Zira
true.
stumbles into quicksand, and in the process of extracting her, like she's holding onto a branch,
Sure.
there's a piece of gingham that rips off her
Of
outfit.
course.
And
There we go.
yeah.
Or I don't know. Or maybe
Quicksand, whiplash, cars
yeah,
driving off
off
the
cliffs.
edge of cliffs.
Yeah. The 70s were the 70s, man.
The 70s.
Anyway, so eventually there's a gun battle. Everybody dies. We find out at the end that
Wait. Before we leave the
yeah,
70s for
yeah,
a moment,
sure.
one of the I think one of the funniest parts unintentionally was like the high class cocktail party, like the
Yes.
center of attention, like the most amazing thing anybody had ever seen was an
I know.
exercycle.
No, I thought you were going to do the teeter-totter thing they were on.
Oh, there was that too. Yes. Yes. But
Yeah, the exercise cycle. But then there was this weird kids teeter. I remember those things. It was
yes, I
like
do
made out
too.
of
Yeah.
wooden, metal tubes, and
It was
basically it was drunken fools on a teeter-totter in the middle of the party.
right. Yes. And the kind of the sense of design at this point in time, like
Yes,
what's high class design, everything looks like a sort of like a parody version of the Palace of Versailles.
yes, yes. You're trying to distract me again with that.
I did distract you. I'm sorry.
Uh, so look, clue me in because maybe I missed this. So is it
Okay.
when I first saw this movie when I was a kid, which is maybe the last time I saw it,
Hmm.
I thought when she dropped the baby off the ship, it was her actual baby that somehow got rescued, kind of like Moses. But now I think, did they switch with the other ape baby?
Yes.
And
Oh,
okay,
definitely.
so
Yes.
is that in the
Yeah.
text? Did I just miss it?
It's at the end of the movie. Well, there's
Well,
the
I know at the
scene
end of
that,
the movie he's
yeah,
there.
right,
Yeah.
right. We don't
But
see the switch happen.
they don't say anything about the switch.
No, they don't say anything about the
Okay.
switch. Yeah. It was
So
the only
yeah,
clever part of this movie,
yeah, that's right.
but it was
So,
also a bit obvious.
well, yes, yes,
Right.
because at the end of the movie, we see the baby ape in the cage, and it's got the necklace of the Saint Francis of Assisi thing around its
Right.
neck, which we know is therefore their child,
Right.
who is
So
not
yeah, so
named
the
not named at this point, is he? I
not
know
named at
we.
this point.
Okay,
Right. There's
yeah,
a whole issue about naming in the next movie, but
yes,
here it's that the police and the military show up. There's a shootout.
hmm
You, the evil scientist dies. Cornelius dies. Zira dies, and the baby dies. And really, a
yeah,
truly brutal scene.
yeah, 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 yeah.
The evil scientist shoots the baby
hmm
repeatedly. That was a bit shocking.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so there we go. So, what was the overall grade you'd give this movie?
I gave this movie. I originally gave it a C plus. I'm gonna knock it down a bit to a C minus. What did you give it?
Yeah, I gave it a C minus.
Yeah.
You could talk me into a D plus. Um, and I'll go ahead and say it now because I don't forget, but it's relevant. I looked back. I gave Beneath a D plus, and I think I'd have kicked it to at least a C minus or a C relative to this movie in particular. I don't remember what
Oh,
you
I
gave it.
like Beneath way more than this
I didn't like
movie.
it at the time, but I like it more than it's one of those things that comparison helps bring out understanding.
I just
But
so
anyway,
here's a measure. I did not look at the time remaining in the movie as much in Beneath as I did in this movie.
no, that's fair.
I was
Yeah, I'll come.
ready for this movie to be done.
I have a question to
And,
that point in a minute, but
yeah, and again, a lot of it has to do with the predictability, the
hmm
blandness, the
hmm
just the uninteresting way in which the story was told on film. It was a really dull movie, and it was like in series of books. Sometimes there's a book that's just intended to be a bridge from where the plot was to where the
hmm
author wants the plot to go. So there might be like a lot of traveling in a fantasy novel, like lots of
right.
people wandering to whatever the next important place is. Like there's a so sorry, George R. R. Martin. There's just a lot of wandering around in your Game of Thrones books. Um, yeah,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
It's not as bad as all the
And that's
meetings in the
kind of
Wheel of
what this
Time
felt
books.
like. Like the studio said, this is our escape hatch from
Yes.
what Charlton Heston wanted to impose on us, and now we can go make some other movies.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So
we'll throw
won't
we'll
you?
throw in a little bit of background on how we get to Planet of the Apes, but that's more filled in. It's the whole purpose of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second.
Yeah.
What'd you give the screenplay?
Ugh. A C. I continue to I took all my notes here in
Yeah.
advance, and I'm knocking things down.
So
Uh,
I put a C down originally, and then I decided to C minus because of the
yeah.
predictability and also just the missed opportunities.
Okay, there's no characterization.
No. Well,
Yeah, you just have
a weak German accent.
Dr. Eric Braeden. He's just evil. Yeah. The head of the Congressional Commission. He's just skeptical. Okay, there's no great dialogue in this really,
No.
except weirdly for the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scenes with the president, he talks like an intelligent human being. But most of the rest of the movie, it's plotting, it's unexciting. Again, it's
Hmm.
a lot of it depends on entirely bizarre behavior on the part of characters just to get to the next plot point.
Correct. Um, I'll lump cinematography and direction together.
Okay.
What would you give it?
So I would give the director Don Taylor a C plus.
Okay.
It's very workmanlike
Hmm.
kind of direction, and then cinematography I would say, yeah, C minus D plus.
Like, yeah.
It's
I mean,
bad.
I gave both of them C's, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
cinematography's not great. It's just, yeah, it just feels like put the camera over there and give me some shots, and that's the whole. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's talk acting. So we can go down the list
Oh,
here.
acting.
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 Speaking of to preview, right? The next
Yeah.
episode we talk about UCI. John Lovitz went to UCI.
Yep. It was
Anyway,
acting.
exactly. Um, Roddy McDowell.
B plus. He's
I,
being his usual affable
yeah,
self. The same person you saw in Fright Night and the first Night Gallery episode. I mean, he's just kind of doing his thing, and he does
yeah,
it well. And he's an engaging person on screen. But
he
this
is.
wasn't his best performance.
I gave a B. It's just fine. B.
Just fine. You did
How about
fine.
Kim Hunter?
Another B plus.
Yeah,
Basically in the same zone as Roddy McDowell in this movie.
yeah. I gave her a B. So Dr. Milo himself, Salminio, what did you give
Yeah,
him?
I gave him a B. It's interesting, and this really may have been a sound editing issue. Sometimes I had a harder time hearing him in the
That's because
sound.
you're an
Yeah,
ancient geek, Tom.
I am an ancient geek. What? What did you say? And I wanted more of him. I mean,
Yeah.
here you had potentially like a extremely interesting character, and I'm
Hmm.
sorry that Salaminio had such a hard time with the makeup.
Yeah.
I almost think it would have been worse finding somebody else and reshooting, which
Hmm.
on their 6 week schedule might have been impossible. But I think that
Is there
it's
someone in the parking lot that can play this part?
he left me wanting for more. I'll say
Yeah, so
that.
I gave him a B, but I also put a parenthetical in my notes that may be a B plus because to that point, right? He was actually interesting.
Yes,
Maybe the most interesting character in the movie,
yes.
with maybe one
Which of course
exception.
he has to die early on.
Yeah, right. Natalie Trundy, Dr.
C,
Branton. Yeah, I gave her a C.
extremely boring.
Yes.
Just another like if there's like some sort of name generator for people in TV
Right.
shows, that
Hmm.
okay, doing Stephanie, that's the first name. Doing Branton, that's the last name. Who can we get for this? Oh, okay, well, it's the producer's girlfriend slash wife.
She's
Let's
available, yeah.
she's available.
How about
Linda
Bradford
Harrison was
Gilman?
way better, I'll just say, as a female lead, who was also the producer's wife.
Oh, right.
Yes, or they were dating, I think maybe at the time, but they did get married at some point.
These things happen.
Yes,
Dr. Lewis Dixon,
yes. The
played by
word
Brad
generator
Gilman.
has spat out Lewis
Yes.
and Dixon. Dr. Lewis Dixon. Uh, Boring. I give him a
Yeah,
C.
I did too.
Yeah, boring. Again, all
Armando
these sort of
him.
people interchangeable. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm always impressed at Leslie Nielsen's turn in his career because
Hmm.
he was one of these bland actors for a
He
long time,
was. He
and
was.
his move to comedy was brave and brilliant, and applause to him.
I think that
posthumously for making that.
may have been the real him.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of these people might have been fun. They might have been capable of more, but they were squashed into the the very restrictive mold of the TV and movies of this era.
So I just remember reading a story, hearing an anecdote. I think it was when he was on SNL, and he had a fart machine that he kept playing in meetings. That just seems like that. Therefore, that's the
Yes,
real Leslie Nielsen,
that's the real Leslie
not Mr.
Nielsen.
Serious.
Right.
Ricardo Montalban as Armando.
I gave him a B. I mean, he had some life to him. He
Yes.
wasn't in the movie very much.
Nope.
He was there just again as kind of a bridge. All right, well, here's what we'll do to save the baby and have another
Hmm.
movie. But he was fun. He was
I gave
okay.
him a B plus because, as you say, he was actually like doing something and like, oh, this
Yes.
guy might actually be a character of some kind.
Yes. I really liked in this movie and in the next movie his little trick that he had of basically boring people to death.
Yes, yes, yes,
So they wouldn't ask
yes.
questions.
Right.
He'd start talking about, and this is the first chimpanzee ever born in a
Captivity
circus. And
in the
like, yeah,
circus.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. We got to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let me tell you more about my circus. No, 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 no. We have to leave now.
The circus. Yeah. Exactly. William Wyndham as President Commodore Decker. What did you think about him?
You know, he was on a TV show. I remember when I was a kid, My Life, because of My Life and Welcome to It, or it was basically he played James Thurber in this comedy show.
Okay.
He was really fun in that. So I would say a B. He was, as I said earlier, a believably reasonable person, and he had his moments. I think in those dialogues, especially with Braden, that were pretty good. What did you give him?
So I'd give him a B minus, but maybe that's more because he wasn't on screen much. I think maybe I would upgrade him to a B. He was at least as good as some of the people I gave B's to, I think.
Yeah, and this isn't the fault of the actor. It's the fault of the script.
Yeah, it's
For President of the United States presented with this earth-shaking revelation, he just seems very passive.
that's true. Well, yeah, and part of it's the production, right? He's like off.
Yeah,
We just see him in his office,
right,
and that's it.
right.
Anyway, so your favorite, Eric Braeden
Eric
as
Braeden is Dr. Otto Hasslein.
Dr. Bad Guy. What'd you give
Yeah,
him?
Dr. Bad Guy. It's C.
I gave him a C minus.
Yeah, so flat.
Yeah, and again, the accent comes and goes.
Yeah, and he's his character is supposed to be deeply, deeply concerned to the point where he is willing to commit violence
Hmm.
on the apes at the end of the movie, and yet everything is just like he's in a barbiturate inspired haze. It's so bland.
Yeah, he's very bland.
Yeah.
Um, how about special effects?
Oh, can I mention one more character actor first?
Oh, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
John Randolph. I mean, who's the chairman of the Presidential
Yes.
Commission. The guy who kind of talked like this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, he's a veteran of so many TV shows and
Yes, he
movies
is.
of this area. So he was a recognizable face. I just wanted to call him out along with M. Emmett Walsh and James Sicking. Okay, so sorry, special effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's hard at this point because they have the back stock of all the masks and prosthetics and so
Yes.
forth to kind of give the movie too much credit when they have only a couple of actors really in the ape makeup. And otherwise, there's nothing here that's special, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there is a shootout,
Right.
and it's not that kind of movie, so there's not
No.
really much to say about it. I mean,
I gave it a B, but I'm actually going to downgrade it to a C because there's not a whole lot going
it's a
on.
C. Yeah, that's what I would give it.
By the way, speaking of alternate universes and
Yes.
timey-wimey factors, I'd forgotten, look at IMDb, that John Randolph was the original Frank Costanza.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
In fact, I think the one episode he was in, they reshot it with Jerry Stiller. So
Yeah.
in
Okay.
reruns, I don't know if you can see the original or
Well,
not.
Jerry Stiller is Frank
Oh,
Costanza.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Soundtrack.
Oh, I'm going to be harsh here.
Go right ahead.
D, D. It is
These,
the
that's,
most interchangeable kind of 70s, early 70s soundtrack you could possibly have.
I
Nothing
put
special.
I put C plus, but I'm gonna go, I agree with your D, and I
Yeah.
think you only gave it a C plus because it was Jerry Goldsmith, and I felt awed by his resume. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm annoyed with him though. He did such a
that's a
bad job
totally
here.
totally fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man's got to put food on the table. What can I say? Um, so is there any other
He
standout?
probably, so in his defense, I'll just say, given the accelerated schedule for the production of this movie, it might be that he had no idea what the scenes were that he
Oh,
was
entirely
scoring.
possible.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
Um, so are there any other standout scenes, either good or bad, or any other performance that you want to comment on that we haven't touched on?
I would say performances, no. I mean, I think we've covered it, I think more than enough. In scenes, again, the kind of the final scene is just so fake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's not to have this scene, where like, oh, there's the dummy falling off. That's not, a
Hmm.
person. That's not Cornelius. That's a dummy.
Hmm.
The fake, really fake looking blood, throwing the baby's corpse into the water. And just it was so badly done.
Yeah, I was struck like you were this time
Yeah.
when Cornelius is just sort of just lounging about
Uh,
on the front of the boat so he can be seen. I'm like, what are you doing?
right.
You're supposed to be hiding for your life here, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
So
by the
I'll
way,
go. Yeah.
another very 70s thing here is helicopters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you saw a lot of helicopters in TV shows and movies of this vintage.
But what if they'd used Airwolf in this movie? That
What
would
if
have
they
been
used
cool.
Blue Thunder?
Blue Thunder. Yeah, you're right. Helicopters.
But Airwolf is a lousy TV show. So
Well, I was just thinking about at the end
yeah,
scene, instead of the lame shootout, it could have all of a sudden they could have kicked the Airwolf theme in. They could have flown in and just strafed the boat.
there you go.
I see. I'm just punching this movie up left and right. Okay. Let me, I was gonna bring this up in a minute, but I'll bring it up now. So
Okay,
there is a scene when Cornelius tells the story of the human beings losing their pets. The cats and dogs die from some virus. They decide to
hmm,
make apes into their pets, and then realize they can be servants.
right.
And then at some point, some ape named Aldo says no, and that begins the revolution. All of that is retcon from the first movie.
Yes,
Just serious retconning.
right. And then retconned again in the next movie.
Yes, yes. So I was like, oh, I know that they're trying to set up the sequels,
Right.
but of course they could have used that same story beat without Cornelius knowing about it. It just sort of annoyed me because it just doesn't make sense based on what we knew in the first movie.
No.
Anyway, that's just a comment. I have nothing more to say than that. I don't think, unless you do.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay, so here's a softball, my friend. Is this a good sequel?
Hell no. Hell no. It's a terrible sequel. Again, it had a very narrow purpose.
Hmm.
And that was seemed to be the focus of the filmmakers, was just to be able to escape from, not the Planet of the Apes, escape from the restrictions that the previous movie had placed on them.
So, could there have been a more interesting movie on this basic framework?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think I especially given the nature of Planet of the Apes. So,
Hmm.
they did a little bit of satire in this
Hmm.
movie. I mean,
They tried, at
the
least.
original movie was a satire. The second movie, not as much. I mean, there was
No.
some, with the peace protesters trying to stand in the way of the guerrilla army and so forth. Here, I think that they could have done more with what I thought was their idea, and that was sort of the latent hostility just under the surface of
Hmm.
American society at the time. I think that the kind of the paranoia about the apes was a little bit too on point. It was just a little
Right.
too obvious, and I think doing more with just as a, seeing American society through ape eyes, or seeing
Right.
20th century civilizations in general through the
Right.
ape eyes from the vast future, would have made it a much more interesting movie. And I think just again, all weird turns and twists in this movie that they're suddenly they're celebrities and then they're the
Right.
subject of all this paranoia and so forth.
Right.
Just meant that they just didn't have a direction for the movie. Almost, it just could veer off in any particular trajectory at any moment without any sort of concern about whether they were trying to follow a particular track set for the movie about this is a movie that wants to say X, or this is a
Yeah.
movie
Right.
that wants to tell an exciting story, forget whatever sort of underlying meaning it has. It didn't even have that.
No,
So,
no,
so
it really
definitely there could
does.
have been a better movie.
To your point from earlier, I mean, the whole point of this movie is to get the ape baby born.
Yeah. Right. And we don't see the rest of the world. What's their
Mm-mm.
reaction to all the revelations in this movie? I mean, this could have been, also where like the rest of the world said, well, why are you having exclusive access to these apes? What about us?
Yeah.
Uh,
Soviets want to talk to space apes.
oh, yeah, absolutely. To apologize for sending all apes up
That's
to
right.
die.
So we already said this in passing, but
Yeah.
this movie does make me like Beneath the Planet of the Apes a little bit better than I did.
Yes. Yeah. And I think we haven't seen Battle for the Planet of the Apes again. So I'm not going to say
Mm.
this is a verdict on the whole series, but of the movies we've seen so far, this is the worst.
So I will preview it in this following sense. I did look at the IMDb ratings for what they're worth.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes gets an 8.
Yeah.
Beneath gets a 6. Escape basically gets 6.3, which surprises me.
Right.
Conquest gets 6.1, but Battle gets 5.4. So maybe we're in for something when we watch Battle. I don't know. I
Right.
don't necessarily agree with all these rankings. I would, but it's interesting.
I think that this movie, again, for people who are not geeks, is more
Hmm.
accessible. That's my
That's fair.
explanation for this. I like Beneath for its gonzo-ness.
Sure.
And I think that that's where, like, if you kind of imagine when we saw these movies for the first time, and people seeing them in the theater, that there is the person who's not into stories about psychic powers and post nuclear holocaust
Right.
landscapes and so forth, talking very loudly in the theater, like, I don't get it, like, what is this, you know why do they have ugly faces? What's going on? Anyway, I think that might have something to do with the lower score for Beneath.
Yeah.
Because this is just,
Um,
I don't know. Again, there are no objective truths when we're talking about giving grades to movies, but
oh, I don't know about
this
that.
is just a worse movie.
No, yeah. It's just not very, yeah, it's not great. Is this the most boring movie we have watched for Ancient Geeks?
That is an excellent question. I think again, if you want to use as the standard here, how often did I look at the time?
Hmm.
This is the most boring movie.
Yeah, I
And then
think
that that
it
depends on
might
a
be.
lot of other variables. Being a good scientist here, about how much sleep did I get the night before, and
Sure.
did my breakfast agree with me, and so forth. But recognizing there are other variables in the equation, this is, I think, definitely the most boring for a short movie, especially too.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
looking
Dune
at
is a boring. The David Lynch's Dune, it gets pretty boring at times.
it does.
Yeah.
But it also has space pugs and things that like you at least go, what the hell's going on now?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
here it's that you're saying to yourself, not what the hell's going on. It's like, I know exactly what's going to happen
Oh,
next.
sure.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, the monster movies we watched were more interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Even a bad one like the Giant Claw. I mean, the good
yeah.
one in that set, the one I think that you liked the most was It Came from Outer Space.
Hmm.
The worst one, the Giant Claw, and just the Giant Claw, of course, had the Mystery Science
Oh,
Theater like
yes.
moments
Oh,
of
totally.
it's a giant antimatter chicken.
Right. That's right. But I'm just like looking down this list. It's uh, you know, for all of the slowness of the flyby of the Enterprise
Yes.
or V'ger scenes, I'm like, oh my God, that's like a masterpiece
Yes.
compared to some of this.
Dong.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it may be the most boring movie we have watched.
Yeah.
And there have been some that made me look at the clock a couple of times. Anyway, we won't belabor the point.
Okay.
So instead of merch, because I don't want any merch from this movie. It's a stretch, man.
It was really hard. I'm glad you changed the question
Yeah,
because the only thing I could possibly think of would be as a joke to have Cornelius's bathrobe,
right.
which was for listeners is the like every color in the rainbow
Well, it's
is in this
Cornelius and
bathrobe.
the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Exactly.
So I said,
70s.
so instead of that, so if all the cats and dogs died from some weird
Yes.
virus that affected for some weird reason
Yes, this is a good
only
question.
cats and dogs, what animal would you choose to become a pet instead of a great ape that could rip your face off, by the way?
Yes. I think ferret.
Ferret's good. I
Ferrets are
like
cute.
there's little mini pigs. They're supposed to be pretty
Yes.
smart.
Right.
But again, there's rabbits, there's guinea pigs, there's hamsters, there's goats. I mean, I'd rather have a pet rat, I think, than a monkey in my house. Excuse me, an ape, a great ape
Yeah.
in my house.
Yeah, a rabbit. Rabbits are fun.
You can pet a rabbit.
You could pet a rabbit,
just-
and actually, and it's not exactly the same explanation for why they have a civilization, but rabbits also, of course, were the basis of a highly popular book and then movie,
That's
Watership
true.
Down, about intelligent rabbits.
So now I'm like, yeah, Planet of the Rabbits.
Night of the Lepus. Have you seen that one?
I think I have. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
Yes,
you
the
all go down to your pet
1970s have
store.
really warped us. The 1970s were just a bad influence
The
on us.
70s.
Oh, 70s.
What can I say? Well, on that note, thank you for listening to Ancient Geeks. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time. Stephen and I have to get back to the Rusting Hulk in Long Beach Harbor, so it's time to bring this episode of Ancient Geeks to a close. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, and drop us a review on the podcast app of your choice. If you want to reach us directly, drop us a line at someancientgeeks@gmail.com. And look for us on our Substack, someancientgeek.substack.com, where we post daily. Also, we're on Reddit, Facebook, and Blue Sky. All content is copyright 2026, Tom Grant and Stephen Taylor. Music by Reversed Image, whom you can find on Pixabay. See you next time.
Mr. Bonds, I think that time can only be fully understood by an observer with the godlike gift of infinite regression.